Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Vinitaly International Academy, announcing the 24th of our Italian Wine Ambassador courses to be held in London, Austria, and Hong Kong from the 27th to the 29th of July. Are you up for the challenge of this demanding course? Do you want to be the next Italian Wine Ambassador? Learn more and apply now at vinitalyinternational.com.
Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as we journey to some of Italy's most beautiful places in the company of those who know them best, the families who grow grapes and make fabulous wines. Through their stories, we will learn not just about their wines, but also about their ways of life, the local and regional foods and specialities that pair naturally with their wines, and the most beautiful places to visit. We have a wonderful journey of discovery ahead of us, and I hope you will join me. Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. In this special 5-star wines and wine without walls edition, I'm delighted to shine a spotlight on Vini Centanni from Le Marche. Vini Centanni has just won a major and prestigious award, Miglior Cantina dell'anno 2022, the Winery of the Year 2022 in the Wine Without Walls competition that took place in Vinitaly in April. My guest today is Elisa Centanni, who joins me from the cantina located in the Ascoli Piceno province of Le Marche. Buongiorno, Elisa. Thanks for being my guest today. How are you today?
Good morning to everybody. I'm okay. Thank you very much.
We're delighted to have you. Now, the Wine Without Walls is the section of 5-star wines dedicated to wine that is produced certified organic, biodynamic, or by companies adhering to certifications of sustainability. The goal of Wine Without Walls is to spread awareness of sustainable viticulture, and it recognizes the commitment of producers like yourself in defining new horizons in the cellar and vineyard. So it's an important award and a great achievement, Elisa. So many congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, my aim today is to give our listeners the story behind the bottle. So before we go any further, can you tell us where you are, what your corner of Italy has to offer, why it's unique and special? I've just actually returned from the Ascoli Piceno province myself. I was there last week, so it's an area I love and know well, and I want our listeners to gain a picture of where you are.
We are situated in the south of Marche, in the province of Ascoli Piceno, and we are situated in a good valley. And the name of this especially valley is Valdaso. Valdaso is a good valley to produce grapes because we are about 5 kilometers from the sea and about 20 kilometers from the mountain. So we have an special climate to produce grapes.
Yes, it's a really special area. We're just to clarify for the listeners, we're right in the south of the Le Marche, almost overlooking Abruzzo. The Sibillini Mountains are rising above, and of course the seaside is down below. And this Val d'Asso is getting the influence of the sea breezes, the winds from the mountains, and making it a very, very privileged area for growing grapes.
Yes, sure.
Now let's talk about organic farming, bio farming. And when did the Centanni family turn to organic farming, and why did you decide to become organic, bio?
So our company became organic about 20 years ago because my father Mario was a grape producer, and he sell our grapes to a big seller near us. And after some year, at about 2004, the prices of grapes unfortunately go down. And my brother Giacomo was studied to be an enologist. So we decided to produce with our organic grapes and organic wines. Organic means we protect our grapes only with sulfur and copper. They are two organic products to protect our grape, not to cure from the heat, because sulfur and copper are organic product to protect our grapes. In fact, each 8 days from April to the end of August, each 8 days we go in the countryside to protect our grapes from the heat.
Yes, I can understand the heat. Having been there last week, it was already beginning to get hot in the Ascoli Piceno area, an area I really love. Ascoli Piceno, one of my favorite small cities in all of Italy, with that beautiful Piazza del Popolo, such a beautiful town square.
Is very, very, very beautiful.
Now, organic involves a huge amount of work. You don't use chemical herbicides or chemical pesticides. So there's a lot of work in the vineyard, and there's also work in the cantina to create your certified organic wines.
Yes, we have a lot of work. We have an hard work to produce organic grapes and organic wines. But we are very, very satisfied about our work because our customer drink a natural wine without chemical product.
Absolutely. And that is not only a great wine to drink from a health point of view, but that organic approach also gives more bright flavors in the wine, or do you feel the wine itself has a different character from being grapes being cultivated organically?
Yes.
Yeah, it just improves the whole structure and flavors that you're getting.
Yes, the perfume of the wines and in the mouth, they are very, very good.
Okay, I can understand that. Now, can we talk about the philosophy behind the linea vendemmia tardiva? Because you have a
Yes,
range of wines with it, with this linea vendemmia tardiva. Vendemmia tardiva meaning late harvest.
yes, mean vendemmia tardiva mean late harvest. The last portfolio wines that the company created 2 years ago. So, and this new portfolio wines is the result of a long study because during these years we have seen that our grapes live longer than the grapes not organic, and they live longer because they are not stressed but the chemical product. So we have selected all our oldest grapes of our company, and we have make a later harvesting, and we have created a new portfolio wines dedicated to this project. This portfolio wines is composed by five wines. The first wine is Cimula. It's an Ufida Pasterina di OCG, and this wine at the competition Wine Without Walls received the best point, 96 points.
Italian Wine Podcast, part of the Mama Jumbo Shrimp family.
Yes, let's just speak about the Passerina, because this is the award, the Wine Without Walls award, and I'd like to speak about that in a little more detail. Passerina is not a grape variety that we are very familiar with. It's really grown only in the southern Marche. Is that right?
Yes.
And it's a really interesting grape variety. And this is a great achievement to have won this award for your Passerina from Ofida. Tell us a bit more about.
Yes, I explained to you. Passerina is one of the most famous grapes of this area. Is an especially grapes cultivated in the south of Marche, in our area. And Passerina has the denomination of FIDA Passerina DOCG because the government select an special area to produce Offida Passerina DOCG. And the special area is the area where we are.
Okay, so it makes, and with this Vendemmia tardiva, you have a full, richer style of white wine.
Yes, this Vendemmia tardiva line is composed by 5 wonderful wines. They are very, very good. They are persistent on the nose, in the mouth. You can taste a lot of flour. It's very, very good to drink.
Okay, full concentrated
Yes.
wines that go well with the local foods. And you also make a pecorino within this.
Yes, the second white wine of Vendemmia Tardiva is Pecorino. Pecorino, the name of Pecorino is Canapale, and Canapale is a fantasy name dedicated to the big door of our little town. And in the past, Canapale was the biggest door of Montefiore dell'Aso. And under this door, there is our oldest grapes of Pecorino. And we want to dedicate it to this important monument of Montefiore dell'Aso to our wine. Pecorino as Passerina has the DOCG denomination because the government as Passerina decided to give to this area this especially nomination of FIDA Pecorino DOCG.
Okay, so that's another important white wine.
Yes, it's another important one.
Another full, big white wine.
During the selection, during Wine Without Walls, Pecorino received 92 points.
Okay, another very high rating. Pecorino from Ofida, I want our listeners to understand, is quite unique. Pecorino now is being found planted in other parts of Italy, in Abruzzo and other areas, but the heartland, the homeland of Pecorino is Ofida, and it makes a Pecorino that is really wonderful, really full and structured and full of character. So I want our listeners to be aware and look out for the Pecorino from the Ofida DOCG. And the red wines you produce?
Then we have for Vendemmia Tardiva, we have another type of Pecorino, but aged in the wood.
Okay.
So we have 2 types of Pecorino. Canapale is aged only in stainless steel. Instead, Pecorino Legno is aged in stainless steel, in wood too, for 6 months.
Okay. And then you have red wines too, from the traditional grapes grown in the Ascoli Piceno province.
Yes, we produce a Rosso Piceno Superiore. The name of this wine is Renarie, and the composition of this particular red wine is 80% of Montepulciano and 20% of Sangiovese.
Okay.
This wine aged for 1 year in stainless steel, 1 year in a big barrel, and 1 year in the bottle before to be selling.
Okay, that sounds very, very nice. I love the Rosso Piceno red wines. That Montepulciano adding a lot of color and fruit and power.
Yes, it's a wonderful wine, a spicy wine, but at the same time is very, very fruity, and in the mouth it has a good structure.
Can we turn now to the cucina of your area? some of the foods, because your wines are wines, and when you're talking about them, Elisa, you're making me want to have something to eat. These are wines to enjoy with food. And I know the cuisine of Ascoli Piceno is really wonderful. Tell us about what some of the best local foods are that would go well with your wines.
So, the most famous dishes of Ascoli Piceno are oliva alla scolana. I don't know if do you know what are oliva alla scolana?
I do. I love them. To me, oliva ascolana is the best drinking snack you can have. They're so good with a glass of wine.
Yes.
Explain to our listeners what an oliva ascolana is.
Oliva scolana is an special type of oliva called ascolana, and in it there are meat, and then it's fried in the oil. So it can in this area is the most famous dishes, and normally you can eat it during an aperitif or as a second dishes. You can choose.
Yes, it's so wonderful.
In Ascoli Piceno, the population eats oliva alla scolana all time.
Yes, just on the streets wrapped in a paper cone. Such a nice street food.
Yes, and in May there is a big party in Ascoli Piceno called Fritto Misto, and the most famous dishes of this party is oliva alla scolana.
Okay, and the fritto misto ascolana.
Yes.
That has that has other things with it. The lamb chop, the oliva ascolana, and also, curiously for us, the crema, the fried custard.
Crema fritta, yes.
Which is very unusual for us. It's sweet along with the meat.
Yes.
But very typical for your area.
Yes, crema fritta too is very, very typical for our area.
So you like that mix of savory and sweet?
Yes, because it is a mix of eggs, sugar, and flour, and then you put it in the oil to be fried. But they are sweet.
Yes, it's a really, really lovely, different Italian take on fritto misto, which perhaps we've encountered in other areas, but that of Ascoli Piceno is truly unique. Are there any other dishes that you would like to mention that are typical of Ascoli Piceno?
Yes, another typical dishes of this area are maccheroncini.
Maccheroncini.
Do you know what are maccheroncini di Campofilone?
No, I don't know.
Campofilone is a little town near Montefiore dell'Aso.
Okay.
Montefiore dell'Aso and Campofilone are near. And in Campofilone, there is a typical pasta made with eggs and flour, okay? And the name is maccheroncini di Campofilone.
And what sugo would you have with that?
The best sugo you can prepare for maccheroncini are red sugo with meat.
Okay.
And the first weekend of August, there is a big party in Campofilone dedicated to maccheroncini.
Okay, a sagra di maccheroncini.
Yes, Sagra dei Maccheroncini. Yes.
Okay, that sounds like a fun day out for people to come to the country to enjoy the foods.
So you can spend a good holiday in this area.
Yes, absolutely. And you could enjoy the foods and the local wines. I imagine with that maccheroncini with the sugo di carne, you would be having the rosso piceno.
Yes, absolutely. It's a good, the best wine you can drink with the maccheroncini is Rosso Piceno Superiore.
Okay, and you mentioned as well that you are only 10 kilometers from the sea, from San Benedetto del Tronto, a very important fishing port.
Yes.
So fish is also important in the local diet.
San Benedetto del Tronto is near us, about near our area, about a quarter. But is the one of the most important seaside of this area, San Benedetto del Tronto.
Okay, and so wonderful fish.
Yes.
From San Benedetto, wine fish that would go very well with your full style of white wines, the Passarina and the Pecorino wines.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. With the fish you can eat in San Benedetto del Tronto, you can drink passerina and pecorino.
Okay. Well, you've really given us a very, very nice picture of the area you are. As I say, it's an area I love, and I think it has so much to offer to visitors. As you mentioned, Elisa, going into the Sibillini Mountains where it's cooler,
Yes.
beautiful walking. You've got the beautiful mixed countryside around Olfida, which is interesting because it's not just monoculture, not just vines, but other crops, the woods, very, very beautiful. And then, of course, you have the seaside at San Benedetto del Tronto. So it's an area that has lots to offer visitors with the historic city of Ascoli Piceno.
In this area, there are a lot of little town to be visited.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope our visitors, because I think for many people, Le Marche is still undiscovered. And in the southern part of Le Marche, maybe even more so. People aren't visiting it as much as they should. And I hope that your talk will encourage people to both visit the area and to discover your wines.
Yes, yes, yes.
Elisa, it's been really, really great chatting to you. You're a wonderful ambassador, not only for Vini Centanni, but also for the whole Ascoli Piceno area. It's been a real pleasure to meet you.
You are very, very kind, and you can spend a good holiday in the Marche, and you can visit Vini Centanni.
Yes, definitely. And I hope that the next time I'm in your area, I'll have a chance to come visit you and meet you myself and try your wonderful wines.
Thank you very much to you.
Grazie. Well, thank you very much, Elisa. And ciao for now. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Vinitaly Academy, home of the gold standard of Italian wine education. Do you want to be the next ambassador? Apply online at vinitalyinternational.com for courses in London, Austria, and Hong Kong, the 27th to the 29th of July. Remember to subscribe and like Italian Wine Podcast and catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. You can also find our entire back catalog of episodes at ItalianWinePodcast.com.
Hi guys, I'm Joy Livingston and I am the producer of the Italian Wine Podcast. Thank you for listening. We are the only wine podcast that has been doing a daily show since the pandemic began. This is a labor of love and we are committed to bringing you free content every day. Of course, this takes time and effort, not to mention the cost of equipment, production, and editing. We would be grateful for your donations, suggestions, requests, and ideas. For more information on how to get in touch, go to ItalianWinePodcast.com.